What's up? Whoa, everything's just broke. Okay, there we go. Hello, everybody. Welcome to 270 Live. It is Wednesday, April 7th. I'm here with Spencer. Spencer, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well. There is a Braves game on at the moment, so if I randomly make noises, you'll have to forgive me for that. But you're used to having Joe on stream, so who cares?
Where where would it be without the classic Joe noises? You wanna go ahead and hop into a one-on-one, or you gonna go public?
Doesn't make a lick of difference to me.
Okay, let's go one-on-one here. I haven't done that.
At some point today, though, we're gonna need to do our lovely state rankings. We can actually make that like a video.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm thinking. I'm fine with like just playing a couple games and then we can actually do a state ranking game,
Yeah.
show, because
Yeah.
Alex and I, yeah, that's one thing Alex and I did while we were waiting for Hayden to show up to
Yeah.
charge my car was, we ranked those states and
I agreed for the most part. I had some issues. I had some disagreements.
there's some intricacies there that I feel like I need to explain, but
One of the most interesting parts of it to me, though, and I'll elaborate more, is there's like this entire category of states that I feel like are useless on their own, but as a group, like Maine, Wyoming, Vermont,
yeah,
South Dakota,
like
they're
if you looked at our preliminary rankings, we had a whole category of like states that basically function as either you need votes and it's cheap, or like they're just attached to a state group and you kind of
yeah.
like will walk into them basically.
Like there's a reason why Town and Gown and Oil and Gas are like two of the best state groups, and it's because there are states that are just that, and that is free votes just for you.
I sent you the code. It's Weird Egg.
Weird Egg? You're a weird egg. I feel like Weird Egg would be a decent band name.
I could see it as like an album title.
I could see that as this is a one-on-one?
Yeah.
Oh, it had to be you. Give me the code. Why is there always a 6 at the end of it?
I don't know. I mean, they've slowly graduated numbers because it used to be 3 back in the day.
It used to be 3. Interesting. All right. Can you guess what Canada I'm playing?
I'm gonna guess Lincoln.
You would guess correctly.
Yeah. Well, who do you have? Because I know you have a very limited.
No one else good.
But besides Lincoln, who else?
I've got Santa. I've got and Leprechaun.
Why are those the ones you have?
Well, the Santa because I didn't know and I kind of wanted to throw you off. The first time that we played.
Gross though. Like
I didn't know. I was young and ignorant.
Yeah, disgusting. Okay.
The Leprechaun I did for the memes.
Yeah. What's up, Jack? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing well today. It's a
Texas Illinois play. I got you,
yeah.
Keegan. I got you. Adam Schiff. Do you get a manufacturing bonus?
I do.
You do. I mean, that makes sense, but
what was I gonna say? Yeah. So welcome to stream, Jack. Hope you're doing well. I'm on break. I'm actually at home right now. Technically, I'm not supposed to be home, but I am. I'll be here until Saturday. Unfortunately, I can't dedicate all that time to streaming because I legitimately have a lot of work I still need to do even at home. But
man's busy or whatever.
Yeah, engineering life. I hate it.
Imagine being an engineer.
Yeah. But no, that's.
Oh, also the big disagreement that I had with y'all, and I talked about this ad nauseum with Alex. Y'all's New Hampshire was slept on. New Hampshire is like a lovely small state.
So I have a couple limitations of New Hampshire, right? In that, it's super cheap. I'm willing to concede that, and it's useful for a lot of good state groups. It's the fact that because it has those attributes, it's highly contested, and typically the person who has locked in one of those state groups will have it locked in off the bat, so your actual like viability to actually get New Hampshire is limited.
But see, it's just so important is my problem with sleeping on it like that. Like it's just a crucial state to have. And that's why people lock it in. Like I feel like locking it in kind of makes an argument for it being a higher ranking than B. the fact that everyone locks it in because it's cheap, it's more than a 3, and it's got Town and Gown, Swing, and Tech,
Yeah.
all of which are important. Like, if you open Town and Gown, what are the states that you open with?
You technically don't need New Hampshire, but most people go after it. Yeah.
Most people go after it because it's so dang important. Like, I just picked up Swing because of it.
I misclicked there. Yeah, Jack, we are talking about the tier list. We are going to be re-recording and making that because that was just me and Alex kind of dicking around. Spencer and I think, are gonna make that into a full show thing or something. I don't know.
We're gonna make an honest to God one.
Yeah.
Also, yeah, I might disagree quite heavily with your Tennessee ranking that high.
It's well, let's save this. Let's save this for when we actually
Okay.
get into it. But yeah, I'm up for critique. I think I think there's a lot of states where like there were legitimate arguments that Alex and I had, and I'm fine with resolving that. Ooh, okay. You're me in a weird spot here. You rushed out to.
I'm gonna be in a weird spot.
No, I am. You rushed out to a pretty uncontested lead here, and I don't like that.
Well, frankly, you not going into New York and me opening Old South has kind of given me some avenues that I didn't really think I would have.
You're not supposed to go into Old South, is the deal.
I think Old South is very viable for Lincoln.
Yeah, I guess.
Because, well, I get a swing boost, which I get very quickly, and I get African American, which is, like, my African American is one of the strongest in the game. All right, Riley, baby, don't strike out here. Or strike out because I said it. My bad. I shouldn't have said it. Okay. Well, this is going to be fun.
Yeah, just,
do you see all the state groups I have right now?
Let's play the guessing game here. Lincoln is famous for winning the Old South, is what Jack says.
Once
yeah.
Again, Lincoln fought really hard for the Old South, baby. I don't get why people are shitting on that idea. Well, I will definitely take locking down those. That's definitely big for me. Take that as well. Yeah, see, I love New Hampshire. I think y'all's New Hampshire slight was an insult.
It wasn't that bad, Jesus.
It's an insult, Keegan. Insulting to me and mine. New Hampshire brethren, rise up.
I want to visit New Hampshire at some point. It seems like a
come up this summer. I'm for real.
But that entails me flying, and I've never flown before. So
you could drive up there.
Do I really want to drive to freaking New Hampshire? How long is the drive?
It's pretty long. It's like 20 hours.
I was gonna say that's a full 2-day trip. Like, I'm not.
Yeah, it's a drive, but I mean, I don't know. You could stay for a while. If you here's the better idea. If you come up during the fall, I'm actually gonna have a house.
See, when am I gonna have the time in the fall to do that? That was the real question.
I don't know. Not my problem.
Because that logistically feels like it's not.
Not my problem. But yeah, no. If you come up in the fall, I'll have a house that you could actually stay at that I will like live in and everything.
Yeah. See, Jack's lobbying for my first flight to be visiting him in San Diego, in which I would 100% rather go to San Diego than New Hampshire. Sorry, but San Diego.
But you see, the thing is, Keegan, I will provide you with a lot of free booze. A lot of free booze, and Jack doesn't drink. I love you, Jack, baby, but you don't drink.
The deal is, I also haven't seen Jack in a long time.
When was the last time you saw me?
I talk to you on a pretty consistent
Yeah,
basis.
you talk to me.
I don't really even talk to Jack on a consistent like I love Jack to death, but we really don't talk that much. So like I don't know that I yeah
Okay, I'm not even hurt. I don't even care.
damn.
See if I give a shit. Honest to God, doesn't even matter to me, man. But you've clawed your way back into this one.
Yeah. You do have
I'll
a
give-
you do have like a late game strategy deficiency, I think.
Oh, you big time. Yeah. Big time. It's like my greatest flaw in this game is my inability to play late game. We'll see though. I'm definitely not out of it by
No.
any stretch.
That's not a great decision here. What's up, AP? Welcome to the game. I'm glad you could join us here. Yeah, so I think the game plan is for today, we're gonna be playing maybe another one-on-one, depends on how this goes.
Mm-hmm.
And then we will be actually doing a like state ranking slash tier list kind of show. Oh, you took Florida back. Fuck. So yeah, that's what you should be looking out for. What we're gonna do. I think we're just gonna do it on live stream. Um, run it from there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. Especially if you don't have any cameras, that'll be pretty easy.
Yeah.
Just to transfer.
I'm choking this because you are getting that lead, and I really don't like that.
Oh, I made a mistake. Ugh. Thankfully, it's a small mistake, but it is a mistake.
Oh fuck.
Oh,
Ooh,
see,
what else?
I'm excited for state ranking, but yeah, no. If you find a way to get up to New Hampshire, it's lovely. If you like hiking, we've got great hiking. If you like snowboarding, come up in the winter. I've got an on camp. Dartmouth has on campus snowboarding.
Oh, really? That's actually really cool.
Oh yeah. We've got our own snowboarding range, like, or it's a ski slope. Obviously, it's not specifically for snowboarding,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's great. I love it.
Yeah, that's fun.
The only issue with it is that it runs out very quickly. Like people jump on that. So if I don't get a pass early, I won't get a pass at all.
Oh, there's like a eligibility like thing you gotta do.
Well, you can pay for it by instance, but you can pay for it by instance, but most of the time people just want passes. Like you want to buy a season pass as opposed to paying $20 every time you go.
So a couple things in the chat. First, Jack asking why no face cam today. I'm at home. I'm on my desktop right now. And I don't have a face cam for that. So that's answer why. And yes, I am playing Adam Schiff.
The best candidate, the only candidate.
Adam Schiff hasn't been relevant in national politics for a long time either.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't know who Adam Schiff is.
He was one of the he was big in like the first impeachment hearings and
yeah.
the Mueller report.
I remember.
Yeah. That guy.
Um,
Don't like that.
The better question is Keegan blowing this game? And the answer is yes.
Technically, you had the lead.
And then you had the lead. And now I have a lead. I got to take Connecticut and Florida. Okay. All right. Did we get ballot yet? Ballot? There's ballot. Yeah.
Oh, that was ballot? This is ballot?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, this is ballot. Yeah, this is ballot.
I got a lot of ground to make up here. Interesting.
You do? You do? Okay. Only defense in a few places, and hopefully that should be enough for me to survive. We'll see. Hmm. Well, I might lose this, but we'll see.
Fuck, I am out of time. I didn't get to spend almost $60,000.
We'll see.
I don't even think I put enough to actually win. We'll see.
We'll see. Yeah. Well, you've really never been on a flight, Keegan.
No.
Interesting. So you took Kansas. Okay. The fact that I can't skip this is intimidating. I defended Massachusetts.
Minnesota's gonna probably be a
Okay.
real
I got.
barrier to me
I
winning.
held on to Minnesota. You took Nebraska. I held on to Missouri. You held on to Jersey. We clashed in Ohio. You took Oregon because I didn't pip into Oregon at all.
It's not enough.
Not enough. No. And you defended South Dakota. Oh, and Tennessee. Did you go into Tennessee? Because I think I maxed Tennessee. Yeah, great. Woohoo! Yeah, I was talking to Joe the other day. I think honestly, I gotta be in contention for like top 4.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I'd put you better than Steven. Better than Riley.
I think better than
Alex.
I think with a lucky break, like it probably will take you, Joe, or Ryan one bad play, and for me to play well.
Yeah.
But I think I have the capability to beat any of y'all one-on-one.
Yeah. You want to play one more and then go in our state rankings? We've only spent 60 minutes.
I'd rather just go right into state rankings, and then if we want, we can play like a public after that.
Okay. Let me go ahead and then transfer over. Alex and I.
Hey, Jack, I could have a face cam on if you'd like.
Oh yeah, if you want to do that, we can do that.
Yeah. If you want to see my cute face.
Alex and I found a really nice looking state tier.
Yeah. That was cool.
And I don't actually remember what the hell it was named because we had to search for it quite a bit.
Let me get where you can see my dogs in the background. Some of the good content.
Yeah, so
I am downstairs watching a baseball game right now.
We're gonna be switching over.
Baseball Uber Alles, here. Baseball Uber Alles.
Can you?
You want me to turn on there?
Yeah.
My face cam here. Okay, let's Oh, hold on. Sorry.
We'll go ahead and get this up running for a second.
Oh, let's see if I can get decent lighting here.
There we go.
Dogs. Hello. That's better lighting, but sadly the dogs aren't in the shot.
Okay. Let me go ahead and. This is a little behind the scenes, I guess. At 270 Live. This might take a bit. Let me
go close the blinds so that I can get the dogs in the shot.
Let me crop this a bit.
Is that any better? No, the sun is still. I mean, it's better.
Okay, and then let me go ahead and get my state group thing up.
We're gonna be famous, Mickey. We're gonna be famous. She doesn't like me very much.
Oh really?
No, she's terrified of guys.
Oh really? Oh, that's right. I think you've told me.
Yeah, no. Loves women, but terrified.
Okay, let me see if I can find that state tier list again. Because Alex and I spent a long time. There's a bunch of shitty ones.
Can you not look through your history? I guess
it was on his computer. Yeah, because the issue was like we cannot designate the difference between like Wyoming and Colorado really. So.
But the flags did help.
Well, those were also. It was the shape of the state that was.
Yeah, but if you've got the Wyoming versus the one with the Colorado flag, yeah. Colorado. Come on, Pache. It's gonna hit here, baby. I also, if we wanted to get copyright strike, I could put on the Braves game.
Put on the Braves game? Yeah. I'm not sure we will really want to do that.
Hey, that would get us viewers, though.
that would. I just change it to
You want viewers? Like that would get us viewers. My other dog wants to be in the scene as well.
how do I want to do this here? I'm gonna Spencer a bit here.
I'm mostly just excited to actually get to have the right opinions about the states.
I don't know about that.
You know?
Okay.
Well, I'm not sure if you knew this, Keegan, but my opinions are all the right opinions.
Okay.
If you agree with me, then you're also correct, but that requires you to agree with me. If you disagree with me, you're wrong.
Where? I don't remember what this one was called. I really want to find that one again, though.
Did you just go to like the tier list site? The
Yeah.
Tier...
Here, let me screen share so you can actually see what I'm doing.
Yes, that'd be great. Does it have pre? Does it have like a?
Well, no, these are all like fan submission, like user submission stuff. So, crap.
Oh, current and former socialist states. United States flags.
Yeah, but see, we don't really want a flag.
Flags, U.S. states, U.S. states.
Okay, here's one. I got one. It's not as clean, but it's easier to see. Easier to see.
Okay, that works. Does it? Civil War would be worth it if they would leave.
Wait, what?
Look at the world would be a better place without them. Civil War. If they would leave.
Nice. I'll go ahead.
New Jersey. The answer's New Jersey.
Yeah, New Jersey. Okay.
Are you doing? Oh, he called that a strike, bro.
This is gonna bother me. I'm just gonna change the color.
S. Yeah, A. What, you're making S blue?
I mean, I'm just going down the color. Okay, what color do you want?
S needs to be red, baby. Yeah, it goes rainbow.
It goes rainbow?
Yeah, rainbow down. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's start Alabama. Easy S for me.
I'll give Alabama an S. Yeah, Alabama.
It's the efficiency. It's the fact that it's an easy tack on for African American, and it's really. I think the best thing about Alabama is the relativeness to.
Yeah, I think Alabama is an S because South Carolina and Mississippi are both Ds.
Yeah.
Maybe Mississippi's like a C, but South Carolina, how it compares.
It's the comparativeness. Yeah.
Yeah. The only state that I think is like better is Colorado because it costs the same as Alabama, same everything, but more state groups.
Yeah.
You know.
Alaska. Alaska's in that weird group where like it's 3, it's cheap, it goes with oil and gas. But beyond that, it doesn't really.
It's kind of useless on its own.
I think it's a D. It feels like a D for me.
Well, I think we need to pick something to put those in on principle and just know that is like what we're doing. With those.
And I think that's where the D category comes in because I feel like for me, there's nothing outrageously wrong with Alaska. There's just nothing good about it.
So, for the viewers at home, the problem with states like Alaska or Vermont or, South Dakota, Wyoming, really any state that is just one state group specifically, with the exception of like Missouri, which we will hopefully shit on. The problem with those is that they're useless on their own, but they're one of the reasons why the state groups are so strong. Like the reason why Town and Gown is so good is because it lets you get into so many places and gets you free states. Like no one else is going into Maine. No one else is going into Vermont. No one else is going into Rhode Island unless you have Town and Gown.
Unless you have Town and Gown or you need votes, basically.
Yeah, or you're ballot rushing. Yeah. But those are both desperation plays, you know?
Yeah. So I think that's a whole category I'm fine with just sticking that in D. Arizona, easy S for me also.
Easy yes, Arizona, no
Uh,
questions
le-
asked.
so
African American makes no sense, but it's perfect.
yeah.
It makes it so good.
Four
Yeah.
state groups, super cheap, super useful. I think it's in contention for best state. That's my personal opinion. Is it's just so good.
Arizona, Virginia's really good,
Virginia's
bro.
really good, but I feel like I don't know.
Virginia's really good, man. So's North Carolina. I don't know. It's up
It's
there.
up there. It's up there. Okay.
I'll put it above Bama. I'll
Yeah,
put it
yeah,
above
yeah.
Bama. Above Bama for sure.
Arkansas. So it's definitely it's somehow it's on paper it should be the worst Old South state, right? No African American, very like it's the one you often go in last. So on paper it should be the worst Old South.
I
However,
kind of love Arkansas.
there are some merits to Arkansas. No, because cost wise, you're not going in South Carolina if you need to pick up Old
No,
South and you're
no,
getting
and it's
conflicted.
it's 6 electoral votes and only has Old South. So a lot like those other states, like Alaska or South Dakota, it is specific to one state group, but it's 6 as opposed to like 3, which is what most or 4. Like it's 6 votes that you essentially can count on if you play an Old South candidate. Like
I struggle to see it like
it's not above a B, but I'm gonna put it at a B or a C is where I would put Arkansas.
I think it's a
B.
low C.
Sorry.
I think it's a
Oh, really? I would say high C, low B. I
Oh no.
love 6 free votes, dude. It's 6 free. We can do C. We can do C. But I'm partial to Arkansas. Arkansas is a special place in my heart in this game.
I think there's some disagreement. I think you're overvaluing Arkansas, but I
It's 6 votes is the thing. Like that is 6 that you essentially don't have to fight for. Like even states like North Dakota, you wind up having to fight for. Arkansas, you don't fight for, and you get it 6 free votes. Like I see no reason.
okay.
At least
I'll put it in C, but I'm not.
I think C is a happy medium
I'm
between
not
what
putting
we
it in
both
B.
agree with.
Okay.
Yeah, I think of it as a low B, high C. You think of it as like a low C, but I think C is the happy medium.
Yeah.
There.
Okay,
You know?
so this one might have been controversial. I don't know. In our preliminary rankings, I put California as the best of B, and here's why. It's all relative to your other starter states of Texas and New York.
Mhm.
It's
Absolutely.
definitively the
No
worst.
question. No question. Yeah.
And it's still like a good state. Don't get me wrong, but I
No.
think it's relative to those two. It has to be worse than them, and I think it's probably the best of B.
Absolutely. California is not a starter state. Like some people play it like a starter state. California is not a starter state. California, you pick it up at the end.
My biggest problem with California, right? The two best openings you have with California are oil and gas, which you can easily just do with Texas, and that has more avenues, or high tech, and the same goes for New York. You can go high tech New York, and it opens you up to better stuff. So the only advantage California has is it's the same cost but more electoral votes. But I don't know if that really outweighs the state group deficiency with Cali.
It has essentially useless state groups. Like this once again gets into an issue with the way that Latino, ag, and export are done. But the 3 of those are useless, and so you can wipe them all from the board. New York is good because it has town and gown, high tech, and African American. Those are really solid. Texas is good because of oil and gas and manufacturing, both of which really, really solid. California has oil and gas and high tech, but without the town and gown or the manufacturing, like that's kind of not worth doing. It's kind of just worse Texas to me.
Yeah.
You know?
All right. Colorado. I think it doesn't feel as broken to me as a lot of the S states, and I would make the argument it's probably the best of the A's.
I would. That's about where I would put it, as low S, high A. Like it's right on that border for me. Because swing state, oil and gas, stellar, great,
Fantastic.
It and New Mexico are kind of in the same category for me. Once again, I don't really care about Latino. Latino's useless. Nobody should play for Latino. Don't play for Latino, please, for the love of God. But Colorado's good. 9 for 18.
20.
No,
is it 20?
Is it? I think it's 18 because New Mexico's 15, right?
15. It is 18, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's essentially Bama, but with more groups. The difference being, I think Bama has the African American, which makes it really stellar, especially compared to the rest of them. Colorado, I like it. The Latino drags it down, and the swing state, I honestly think, drags it down.
Just because of the competitiveness of
Yeah,
Colorado.
that the competitiveness is a double-edged sword because you get swing, fine, like that's fine, but swing state has its issues. My having a bunch of state groups can be both a good and a bad thing, depending on if it's a starter state or a battleground state. Like
Colorado's a clear battleground state.
clear battleground state, like
problem.
Along with North Dakota of all things, it is battleground.
But I make the argument because of the competitive. This is getting farther down the list, but because the competitiveness, North Dakota actually gets points towards it for it. But that's
I love North Dakota.
That's an argument we'll get to in a second. Yeah.
My thing with Colorado is it feels like a weakness, not a place to attack. We can get into it more with North Dakota, but I think North Dakota is great because for Town and Gown, it gives you an avenue into some oil and gas stuff. But yeah, I put Colorado as a high A. Colorado for all you Westerners. You're welcome.
Let's take a break here. Let me or like a quick pause. I'm gonna try to like multi-screen so I can actually see chat while we're doing this because
all right.
Jack's been talking and I haven't actually been able to. What's the best logistically?
You can edit this out.
Yeah, I'm gonna edit this out.
Yeah. Sorry, Jack, baby. I could also just go pull up the YouTube page.
Oh yeah, or you just do that. That is logistically better. And then you'll just respond for chat for us. Actually, let me.
I'm gonna do that on my phone. Actually,
scale this actually also,
so that I don't have to. So that I don't have to hear us talking double. That'd be desired. Let's see. Keegan out of shift. Spencer, it's been a while. Isn't that C? That C is average by definition, right? Yay, I can be heard again. Yeah.
Okay. And we're back, I guess, after.
Aw, Jack called me cute. Shit, I'm dying over here. I'm dying, Jack. I'm a taken man, Jack. You can't.
All right. Let's go ahead and hop right back in. Connecticut, super cheap. 15 for, was it 8 or 7? It's something stupid. It's only in one state group, so that's high tech. I think low A for me, just because of the cost efficiency and how useful is it for high tech.
It is essentially, in my mind, what Arkansas is to high tech for a better state group. Like,
but it's also more electoral votes.
It's more electoral votes. It's essentially better Arkansas for a better state group. Yeah, absolutely, in my mind.
Yeah, I don't think it's as good as Colorado.
I put it high B, low A is where I would put it. I think same. Honestly, I'm leaning more B. I would lean more B for Connecticut. I like it. It's just not. Do I think it's better than California? No, I don't. I don't think it's better than California, in my mind. Like
I'm fine with that. I think.
Jack was talking about Alaska with the C coming. You guys were saying that nothing too good, nothing too bad. So, Jack, the thing is, it is bad. Don't get me wrong.
It's not outrageously
it's a really bad state.
Is the deal.
It's a bad state. Don't hear us not saying it's not a bad state, because it is. The thing with Alaska is the thing that redeems it is the way that it plays in oil and gas. Like, for any of the Town and Gown exclusive or oil and gas exclusive states, the strength of it isn't that it's a good state, but because it has a good state group. Right, Keegan?
Yeah.
Would you?
Yeah.
So I think the reason why it's not F, even though it is,
pretty awful,
is because
F is
It
for like things that are like
F,
just
F is
outrageously bad,
for
like
F is
broken.
for like it's actively worth not going into, even if you have the state group money for it.
Yeah,
Like it's a
it
waste
like
of your state
it,
group.
it
Cough, South Carolina. Cough.
I don't feel like it's a bad investment if I dump oil money in Alaska. It is a bad investment if I'm dumping town and gown into Missouri. Like just
Okay, I have one problem with our states here. I mean, I have several problems. What is going on with Michigan, babe?
Michigan.
What's going on with
Oh,
Michigan?
well, I was looking at the little thing on Virginia, and that does not look right. Wisconsin
Virginia,
also.
Maryland, Wisconsin's a little messy. Um,
Maryland, I can understand if like this was like a
yeah, yeah,
hand
yeah,
drawing and you didn't want to draw
yeah.
all the
Illinois
coastline.
got a tumor.
Uh,
It's not a tumor. It's not a tumor. Yeah. Where were we? Delaware. I like
I like
Delaware.
Delaware. It's
I
DC but
like
better.
Delaware.
Um,
Um,
B for me.
I don't know about better. It's B above Connecticut in my mind.
Better than Connecticut?
It's better than
Oh.
Connecticut to me because even though it's fewer electoral votes, African Americans makes it so much stronger. Are you kidding?
You do
Getting
fight. You do. Yeah, that is a good snipe for African
Yeah,
American.
it's a good start for African American. And if you're like fighting for the African American vote, getting Delaware can be that thing that pushes you over the edge. Connecticut's like a good state, like electoral vote pickup, but Delaware presents you with like actually useful state groups, like points toward it. You know?
Yeah. Okay. I'm still gonna make the argument. Is DC even on here? No.
Um,
I will make the argument. I will still take Connecticut over DC because the town and gown.
really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Because okay, for me, the town and gown on DC, it's more of a hindrance than something to actually go for. You don't go for DC to pick up town and gown. That's just not something you do.
no,
And so I think the redeeming thing about Delaware is you actively go for Delaware for high tech. You actively go for Delaware
absolutely.
as a snipe for
Yeah,
African American. DC
yeah.
feels like a just kind of those things that it's be nice if you can pick it up
It's
with
kind
your
of an
African American.
afterthought.
It's an afterthought for me. Yeah. And
I'd put DC in like a C because it's essentially a better base town and gown state, right?
I
Like it's a town and gown state. It's a town and either a C or a high D.
with the African American, I think it brings it up to a low B, but that's
Oh no. I'm talking about DC.
yeah,
Oh, you put DC at a B.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Low B. Low B for me.
I'd say high C for me is the thing because it's I don't know. It doesn't get you enough toward either of those to really be worth anything. Delaware doesn't really either, but Delaware's just got two better state groups in my mind.
I mean, it's the same one overlapping.
Yeah. But the high tech is just stronger, you know? Like it just kind of gown.
I think I since we're not putting it there, since I don't have a Delaware, DC, we can just kind of assume it's floating somewhere around here.
Yeah. Okay.
Florida, A for me.
High A, low S.
Yeah. So I mean, Florida 5 state groups, 100,000, great state. There are some deficiencies with it though. Latino and Ag aren't great with it, right?
Latino and Ag aren't great, but African
African
American
it,
swing state.
it is more viable for me as a starter state than California because
Absolutely no.
you can go swing state with a Florida star, which is
Right.
there's
If you're
some
going
deficiencies.
any kind of if you're going any kind of conservative or African American candidate, Florida
It's a
is
must.
where you go.
It's a must.
Like, are you kidding? That's absolutely that is a high A, low S in my mind. Like it's just not broken like Arizona or Alabama or Virginia.
I think
it's like
I think
the reason why
Florida
you put it in S.
Florida suffers from the same problems of Colorado in that it is too competitive.
Yeah, it's highly competitive. You don't just get to pick it up,
Yeah.
and it's not. I'd say it's not early game, but it is. It's something, you know.
And I think the cost also has to like if it was 75,000.
I think the cost is a boost to it because it's the same amount as New York, but cheaper.
To me though,
It's 29 votes for swing state and a lot of African
New
American,
York isn't as
other than New York.
competitive as Florida, though, is the deal, right? Like Florida is just it's the Florida is such a bloodbath, and it's because everyone recognizes how useful it is. I just
And that's why I think you keep it at S. That's why I think you put
yeah.
it high, is because it's not broken like Virginia, Arizona, Alabama, but it is really, really good. It's kind of like a Texas in my mind, you know? Like everybody acknowledges that it's really, really good. And so that makes it not absolutely broken, but
Do you put Florida ahead of Colorado? Is the real question.
mm, for me personally, yes. For me personally, as an Abe Lincoln player, yeah. Because African American is significantly stronger than anything that Colorado really has to offer, but they're comparable in my mind.
I'm fine with
That's
that, but I think they're very close.
Yeah, they're right on top of each other. The only thing that I give Florida the edge for is having African American.
All right, so let's move
You'll
on.
notice that 3 of our top 4 so far have all been African American states. That will be a running theme, I believe.
Well, I'm glad you say that because we're moving on to Georgia. And so normally I think I'm normally gut gut reaction tells me, okay, it's horribly overpriced. Let's stick it in D.
Yeah.
However, I think the power of African American elevates it, right? And
See, yeah, that's the question. The thing that I'm gonna hurt Georgia on is you don't go into Georgia to get African American. You go Virginia, North Carolina, Louisiana, and Florida. Like Georgia's an afterthought. You go in there desperate. Like if you need to
my
pick it
thing
up,
is, there's
go
no
get it
guarantee.
elsewhere.
There's no guarantee that you'll get that, especially in large multiplayer games. There's no guarantee that sometimes Georgia it's a great boost if you are actively fighting and getting conflicts for African American.
Yes, but I don't think it's the first thought ever. You want to go Illinois, Michigan, Florida, Louisiana, North Carolina, Maryland, something other than Georgia, because Georgia's a waste. Georgia is I need African American and I can't get it elsewhere. Like that is what Georgia is.
It's also bulky for the amount of votes you get too. I think
Absolutely, it's so expensive. It's ungodly expensive. Georgia is one of my favorite scare people plays because it's just enough.
There's no way I'm going high amounts in Georgia unless it's a pure desperation. Like
Georgia's where I go to scare an Old South player or an African American player because
turtle like Alex
because
does.
It's enough. Yeah, because it's enough votes to where you don't want to lose it because that could cost you the game. But also, it's so expensive that it's just going to burn so much of your resources. Georgia's a C to me.
It's a C, yeah.
The thing that saves it in my mind is the fact that it has African American. Like it is no shape or form what you want to start with, though.
Again, I feel like you're probably going to push back on this because of your Arkansas assessment. But I don't know if I like Arkansas more than Georgia. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Really? Oh, dude, I love Arkansas. I'm gonna be biased. Arkansas.
I think we all have that one state that I think we're completely overvaluing, and I think for you it's Arkansas.
Yeah. Yours is Connecticut. I'm sorry, I like Connecticut. You are selling Connecticut, babe.
Okay. I'll put Georgia behind Arkansas, but I don't feel great about that. Hawaii. Let's move on to Hawaii. It's got the same problems as Alaska. I think
Hawaii gets kind of a boost, honestly, from of all things game design.
No, I was literally just about to say that. It is no one pays attention to Hawaii. It's
like Maine or Alaska. Even Alaska is better than Hawaii, but everybody forgets Hawaii's there.
Like it's just tucked away in the corner to the point where no one actually remembers to go into Hawaii. Yeah. So I think that does have some redeeming qualities to it. Does that push that?
Which is weird because you wouldn't think something like that would have an effect, but it absolutely does.
And so the question is, does that push it into C? I don't.
Yeah, you want to go.
I don't know if it does.
Your thing is, it's low C, high D in my mind. It's better than Alaska.
It's 100% better than Alaska. I think agriculture is such a hard state group to get, But but
Crap.
but
That's
but I
crap.
often find myself, I mean, I only go for ag if I'm in a Texas start, and I often find
Yeah.
myself on so close to the line that Hawaii often actually pushes me over. So
I love Hawaii because everybody forgets about it, and so
yeah,
that is times out of 10 the last state for anybody to go into. Like if we're waiting on ballot and everybody's just looking around like what's going on,
it's
it's
Hawaii.
because no Hawaii. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm actually okay with putting it at the low C end. Because I
Um,
think it has some redeeming qualities that makes it better than that kind of Alaska, Vermont, Rhode Island state group.
yeah, that's where I was thinking is low C, the best of D, one of the two.
Um, Idaho. It's
D,
Hawaii, but worse. Like
but worse. It's Hawaii, but you can see it.
yeah, Hawaii, but you actually pay attention to it.
Big Hawaii, Idaho.
Um, better than Alaska, worse than Alaska.
It
Ag.
is four,
It's
but it is
for
ag.
ag. So that's the trade-off, right? It's
Yeah,
slightly more expensive, but and it's in
but you don't get
ag.
a but you don't get money for it. Um, so yeah, I'd put it worse than Alaska.
Okay. Illinois,
Illinois,
but
ooh,
Chicago has taken part of Lake Michigan.
it
Um.
is it is high B, mid A,
Oh. Whoa.
mid A,
Okay.
mid A.
You saved
I
it with
like
the mid A.
Illinois.
You saved it with the mid A. I cannot justify putting it as low as high B.
Okay, I didn't know where you're gonna put it because it's definitely an A tier for me, but I'm trying to go a little conservative.
So useful. The utility for Illinois is so good. African American and
I love
manufacturing
Illinois.
as your base. It's 50,000 for what, 20
It's
votes?
cheap. It's cheap.
It's
Yeah, it's 20.
cheap.
It's 50,000 for cheap.
Again, I think there's a running theme with A is that it's so competitive. I think S, like, Arizona's competitive. Don't get us wrong, but like there's something broken about Arizona. I think Illinois,
Arizona's broken.
but
Virginia's competitive too, but it's broken.
Illinois
Um,
is so good, but it's just so competitive that I
yeah,
think
absolutely.
I like it better than Colorado,
Joe,
actually, I think.
yeah, Joe used to make jokes to me that he was like really good at stealing Illinois from me, and so I've had to like really focus on Illinois. I love Illinois. Manufacturing is so good. African American is so good. Both of
Actually,
those
you know
are
what?
just
I
state groups.
I will. Do I make the argument with swing state attached to Florida? Is Illinois a better state?
No,
Mm.
no, no, not in my mind.
I think it's
Because
better than Colorado. I think it's better than
it's
Colorado.
better than Colorado. No questions asked. It's better than Colorado. But is it better than Florida? They're kind of the same to me. Like if
One's
so,
just so much cheaper than the other, though.
one is well, but I mean, like if you're
And,
looking at it, it's another 10 votes for another 50,000.
but
Like that's not horrible.
okay,
Um,
but my problem is, I think this gets into the nitty gritty. There are some really big limitations with swing state. Illinois'
mhm.
second best state group is manufacturing, which I will
Yeah,
take
it's so
manufacturing
good.
over
Yeah,
swing
no,
state any day of the
any
week.
day of the week. Yeah,
And
no question
and
on
and,
that.
and that's
But
that's my argument for Illinois is that the second state group is so much better than the first because they share African American. The problem with the defense for Florida I can see though is it gets you so much farther for African American.
yeah, because you have to have at least two fairly expensive African American states to even be in the contention, right? Like you have to have a Florida, a North Carolina, a New York, an Illinois, a Michigan, something. You can't hangman African American. It's just like not possible. Um, I like Illinois. Illinois is so good for me. It's in that same class with Florida in my mind. Where like the only thing holding it back from being S is that it's not broken. It's one of the well-designed states, not absolutely shattered.
Have you been checking chat by the way?
I have just been checking chat. Uh, DC is in the state, doesn't count. Citizens are barely people. Jack's getting canceled. That's problematic. Like 60% of DC is black. Uh, no wonder Joe can't win. He can't win the best states. Can't confirm. Never gone into Hawaii. I forgot it existed. We all forget it exists, and that's why it is in C instead of D.
Yeah.
Even though it is a a four pip ag exclusive. Like the fact that it's tucked away is why it's C. Like that is the entire reason.
All right. Let's move on to Indiana. Indiana, I think most people will put it low. I will rank it a little bit higher because some of my favorite plays to get manufacturing is a Texas, Illinois, Indiana play. Um,
Indiana is 11 votes
it's
for 20.
11, 25. Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
cost that also.
For with a good state group, it's better Tennessee in my mind. Like
I
Indiana is better Tennessee.
For me, it's infinitely better than Arkansas. No question. No question about that.
Infinitely better than Arkansas. I don't know about
You rate.
you are sleeping on the Arkansas, baby.
We're talking
Sleeping
about
on it.
11 for 25 in manufacturing. I don't
We're
know
gonna
how.
have to move upstairs. I am bothering my sister, so we're gonna have to make a little exodus.
Okay, but
To
while
follow it.
Spencer's moving, let me explain to you why Arkansas is so much worse than Indiana. Arkansas has the deficiency of, yes, I understand it's cheaper, and yes, I understand it's got the votes, but for me, it's comparable to Kentucky, and Kentucky is the worst manufacturing state by far. You cannot.
But Kentucky's $10,000 more expensive.
Does the cost out for me?
Yes, the cost is so important to that. Are you kidding? $10,000 extra dollars. Indiana costs the same as Kentucky. I think that is a failing on Kentucky's part, not some strength of Indiana's.
No, I understand that, but I'm gonna loop this back to an argument of Indiana is better Kentucky, and I like Kentucky as
Do you
much
like Kentucky more than Arkansas?
as much,
I don't.
if not more than Arkansas. Yes.
Oh, dude, but Arkansas is it's essentially 6 free electoral votes because you run out of stuff to do with your Old South money. You do. If you are still like using Old South money by turn 6 or 7, you've done something wrong. You know, like that is wasted. But you can use it on Arkansas. That's the benefit for me because you either have to, once you've defended the 4 big ones, right? It's not, Old South money is never, even if you're an Old South candidate, it's not enough to like to go into Georgia. It's not enough to go into anything of note, but it can get you Arkansas, and it's like essentially it is the only thing in Arkansas, the only thing worth looking at Arkansas. Jack said press F for him, so F's in the chat, lads.
No.
I like Arkansas. I like Indiana. I think
it's a low B for me.
I'll put Indiana in a low B. I like Indiana.
I like Indiana.
Jack also likes Indiana, as we know.
Yeah, Jack maxing out Indiana. I'll play that clip when I edit this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Indiana low B. I'm fine with that. Iowa.
I love Iowa.
Iowa. It's a sneaky good state. It's
Iowa's mid B, for me, or A. One of the two.
Oh, I don't know if I could justify Iowa as an A. A feels a little too high just because
Ag is a worthless third for it, but Town and Gown and Swing are important. Like it's one of the few. So
it's not as cost efficient either, though. Is the deal? Like it's 6 for 20, and you.
It is 6 for 20, which is a lot, but you are paying for swing states, and if you're going to Iowa, you essentially have Town and Gown already. Right? Like, there's no world in which you're going into Iowa and you don't have either swing or Town and Gown. So, it's 6, and it's essentially an afterthought in my mind, right? Like, it's kind of an Arkansas comp in my mind.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah. I mean,
because it's kind of a worse Arkansas, even to me. Like, it's a slightly worse Arkansas because it has the 2. You know, because it has down. I'm selling myself lower and lower on Iowa as we talk because I do like.
Yeah, I don't. I for me, I think I want to slot it right in front of Delaware.
Really?
Yeah. I just.
Oh, I was thinking even put it like right behind Arkansas. Because my problem with it is
you were literally just selling it as a low.
I know. I told you I'm selling myself lower and lower on Iowa because okay, here's my thought, right? It's the same amount of votes as Arkansas, right? Exactly.
Stop with the Arkansas comp. Arkansas isn't that good.
But okay, look, it's 6 and 6. Arkansas is cheaper, and it's the only thing you use Old South money for. Iowa is 6 for 20, and state groups that are pretty important. Like, if you're putting Town and Gown money into Iowa, you're not putting it into Arizona. You're not putting it into Minnesota.
Iowa is a great.
Missouri.
Iowa is this. Why the hell would you be putting money into Missouri rather than Iowa? Iowa is
because
a
it's 10 because it's 10 electoral
no.
votes.
Iowa
That's the
is
only
a
reason.
great snipe for if you have town and gown and someone is close to swing states or
Put it lower than Indiana. It's not better than Indiana. Put it lower than
oh.
Indiana. Hold on. I can't.
I
I
don't know.
can't.
And
And
it.
put it lower than Indiana. It's got to be lower than Indiana. So you can't see half my face right now. I'm gonna get myself in better
I
light.
struggle with that Iowa play. I pick. I don't. Oh.
See, okay. The thing is, it's no votes, right? Like it's six. It's 6 electoral votes. So the Arkansas comp is there, even if you don't like it. Like the Arkansas comp is there because they're both 6, and it's more expensive
But it's.
for in more useful state groups.
All right. I'll begrudgingly.
Indiana is 11 for 5. It's what 5 more votes for 5,000 more, and in a useful state group. So
No, actually, I think that's the justification I need. I think you're right.
yeah, like Indiana is a better state. I'm sorry, Indiana is a better state than Iowa. Arkansas, I will give you, is probably worse, but Iowa, I started off high on Iowa, and as I thought about it, we plummeted. Like it just dropped. It was not there.
All right, Kansas,
stick that low C.
Yeah,
or D.
It's a low C. It's to use your comparison, kind of like in Arkansas, where that it's a is it 6? Is it 6? I think.
Oh, Jack says we need to speed this up. So we gotta stop. We gotta stop arguing.
How
everything.
long have we been? I might have to chop this into multiple segments or something.
That's fine. That's fine. All right. Kansas for me is a low C, high D.
Yeah, I like it more than Hawaii, and it's just because it's got the votes. And so
it's just expensive and ag only. It's fine. Kentucky is a D for me.
Kentucky has just glaring deficiencies. I think for the yeah, no, I'll put in D. I'm fine with D.
I'll put it in D. The thing is, it's worse Indiana. It's the same price as Indiana, the same state group, and less votes.
It's the last. It's the worst of the manufacturing. It's the one you go in last.
Yeah.
It's nothing.
Much like South Carolina and Mississippi, which I think we'll get to, it's made even worse by the things around
it's
it.
Comparative,
it's made better by the fact that Kentucky is so bad.
Yeah. All right, Louisiana, easy S for me.
S tier, baby. God bless Louisiana.
Higher than Alabama.
You want to elaborate on that? I'll put it in Alabama.
So 25
less votes, better state groups.
Yeah, great state groups. 25,000. You get it for your Old South start. You can do for Texas and oil. It's just so useful, so good.
It's so good. African American oil and Old South, stellar, great, awesome. Maine, stick that in D. Maine's the same vote.
I like it better than Alaska because just the vote count, and because town and gown, you'll tend to get more town and gown money. So that's just something that I think Maine has going.
We're going faster, Jack. I'm sure he'll chop this up. Maryland, I'll put in a B or A, like high B, A.
Do I really?
Is Maryland to me? It's expensive. Is the big problem?
It's the cost for me.
It's expensive, but it's so crucial to an Old South start. It's so important. And
if it was 30, easy, no question, I'll put it in bottom A. I think 35 just makes it so expensive. Here's
my thing: a lot like Florida, even though it is expensive, it's expensive toward a good cause. It's expensive toward African American.
But it's
like that. That's my thought on that. It's expensive toward something useful. It's expensive toward African American.
Is it really better than California though? Is my thing. Like
in my mind, yes. I hate California. I hate going into California. I recognize that 55 votes is important and tech is important, but Maryland is tech and African American. And still 10 votes. Maryland is one of my favorite in-game snipes. I love sniping in-game.
It's just
because people forget about it.
It's the cost that's ridiculous for me.
It's so expensive.
I will put it begrudgingly at the bottom of A, but I would.
I think it's probably the worst A state.
Massachusetts, A for me.
I like Massachusetts. I do.
It's the high tech. You need it if you're going New York. Easy Massachusetts play to get Town and Gown.
Absolutely.
So much towards high tech. I think it's
Much
worse
like
than
Maryland.
Colorado. It's a Maryland. It's very,
much like Maryland. It's expensive, but it's expensive toward a good cause.
it gets you somewhere.
Why you open it? Yeah, it gets you toward Town and Gown, which is so important.
I like it better than Maryland because of how you can use it for the Town and Gown so early on. 3 turns for Town and Gown.
I much prefer, and it's more votes. So yeah,
Michigan.
S tier, hands down. I love Michigan.
Do I like it better than Alabama? I think so, but
I do. Bama's one of the worst S tiers. Bama's the only reason why Bama is S tier is because of the cost of comps.
Yeah.
Like that's the only reason. Bama is an S tier because Bama itself is particularly strong. Bama's S tier because I like going in Bama because all the other old South states kind of are broken.
Michigan, high tech manufacturing, African American.
No question. So good.
No question.
So good. And 16 votes and money toward a good cause. Like it's expensive, yes, but it's expensive toward African American and high tech and manufacturing, all of which are great.
Yeah.
We no disagreement there.
Minnesota is just so neutral average to me. Like I want to just slap it and see because it's got the votes, but
it's got the votes and Town and Gown.
Other
than that, it's the big thing is just compared to Missouri.
Yeah, it's also boosted by the fact that Missouri exists.
That Missouri is ass.
Yeah.
That Missouri is literally worse Minnesota. I like it more than Georgia.
I think it's a Georgia comp though. I think
it's right there with Georgia, but I prefer it to Georgia.
Okay.
And that's as a player that plays really heavily toward African American.
Yeah.
Mississippi F or D.
I think
it's low D, F.
There's some things broke. Like Mississippi's bad. Don't get me wrong, but
why is it more expensive than Alabama?
I understand, but the fact that there is a state in Mississippi state groups who is so outrageously bad,
significantly worse.
I think how bad South Carolina is boosts Mississippi up to the bottom of D tier.
I think Mississippi needs to be the highest of F. I think South Carolina's got to be bottom.
Okay.
But Mississippi's still an F tier.
I'm looking at D, and I don't think it fits in the category of D, but it's definitely better than I think what we're going to put in F. For instance, next state, Missouri, easy F.
Easy F.
Maybe my least favorite state on the board. I think there's redeeming qualities about literally every other state except for Missouri. We'll get to those.
Missouri is only useful in like it's a ballot turn and I have some Town and Gown money left over. Like that's the only thing.
Absolutely atrocious.
It's awful, god awful.
Montana. Here's a fun one.
I like Montana.
I like Montana. I'm gonna put it in B because there's no.
I like B.
There's no state groups. It's super cheap. It's basically 3 electoral votes that you don't really have to fight for. I'm going to say worse than Indiana, better than Iowa. How do you feel?
My thing with Montana is Montana will be bad when everyone realizes how okay Montana is.
Yeah.
But Montana is boosted by everybody kind of thinking that Montana is shit.
Everyone looks at Montana and goes, "Oh my god, that's awful." But there's some really it's not good because of how it was designed. It's like a Hawaii syndrome where like just the gameplay mechanics kind of make it good, I guess.
Absolutely. There's a baseball comparison there, I think. So this won't make any sense to anybody but really me, but the national shortstop is Trey Turner, and he's really good, but nobody realizes how really good he is. So once people realize how really good he is, then he won't be like great, but right now because he's underrated, he's one of the best. Like that's my thoughts on Montana.
All right.
It's like once everybody realizes that Montana is okay, then Montana will be mediocre.
So Spencer,
bad?
Are you ready for a hot take here? Nebraska, I like so much better than Arkansas.
What's Nebraska's cost? I honestly forget Nebraska's cost.
15,000. That's the deal.
It's 15? And Nebraska's better than Arkansas. No question.
It's
Town and Gown?
It's Town and Gown. Yeah, no, it's
better than Arkansas. I'm getting loading. Let me go close the door because I'm getting a.
No, it died on my end. Are we live again? I think we're live again.
All right, Nevada. Are we on Nevada yet?
Well, are we live again? Can you check and make sure we're live?
Yeah, your stream is back up and running.
Okay, sorry about that. Nevada. Alex super underrated Nevada. He did
I
not.
hate
You
Nevada.
hate
I hate
Nevada?
Nevada. I hate Nevada.
Oh.
Useless. Useless,
Oh.
useless, useless. It's expensive and useless.
Oh. I
Maybe it's Latino is so shit, and maybe I'm sleeping on it. I can be sold, but right now my thoughts on Nevada are kind of like New Jersey, but without the votes.
So my thing is, right? When I play Latino, I'll often go
When do you play Latino? No one plays Latino.
No. When I say when I play Latino, it's like late game, and I'm trying to find any state groups that I'm relatively close to, right? And so if I'm anywhere near Latino, it'll often be with New Jersey and Nevada still left on the board, and Nevada will often be the one that pushes me over. I don't want to go to New Jersey. New Jersey's super expensive. I don't want to
New
invest
Jersey's
money in
so
New
expensive, and it's
Jersey's.
expensive for nothing.
Yeah.
New Jersey, if by the way, just a preview, New Jersey is not D. New Jersey is F.
Oh,
I
for me, New Jersey's an F. Nevada,
F. Yeah, no problem.
Nevada, I'm gonna put.
I can hear Nevada being a D. I can't.
No C, no love for Nevada
no
for C.
C. No, God.
Oh,
You're gonna have to sell me better than like some people ignore it, like because it's expensive for being ignored,
is it?
and it's nothing.
I'm gonna put above Maine, but below Kentucky. How about that?
Sure, that's fine. That's fine by me.
All right, so
This is a
this is the
disagreement
controversial one here.
free.
New Hampshire for me.
I love New Hampshire.
First off, where are you putting New Hampshire?
I'm putting New Hampshire in A.
Where in A?
It's I'm gonna put it like above Massachusetts, below Colorado. Yeah, like right there.
After discussing that, I'm fine with that. I think New Hampshire just it's not significant enough on the vote count for me. I don't think.
No, but
for the
let-
competitiveness that it has, right?
Yeah,
It's just so competitive, and it just doesn't have the electoral kick that you need for a state that competitive.
It's so cheap. It is, but the cheapness kind of overrides the competitiveness because it's competitive, but it's pretty easy to lock down, and it's three pretty important groups. Like there is no downside to going into New Hampshire for me. New Hampshire is always a benefit, always worth going into, and it's cheap enough that it justifies it. I love New Hampshire. I think New Hampshire is a great opening state, especially for town and gown, especially for tech, especially for swing. All of those are great for me. I love sniping New Hampshire. I love sniping New Hampshire because it also gets ignored because it's tiny. So if you're a town and gown player or like a tech player, like Alex playing Musk, forgets about New Hampshire all the time, and I love stealing it from him. I love New Hampshire. A for me. It's just not enough votes to be S. It's not broken, but it's a well-balanced state. It's so good.
Jersey, easy F for me.
F tier. Stick it in.
Better than Missouri. I just have a burning hatred for Missouri, but it's still
more
bad.
expensive. It's more expensive than Missouri, but it's more votes. So
yeah, it's the votes that exist for Missouri, and that's the only redeeming thing I think.
And for Missouri, for Jersey, there's at least not the glaring problem of Missouri is Minnesota but worse.
Yeah.
Like Missouri is Minnesota but literally just worse.
All right, let's move on to New Mexico. Colorado is infinitely better than New Mexico.
Yes, I'm gonna put New Mexico at like a low A, high B.
I think just again with the comparativeness, I think because Colorado exists, I would prefer to put it as the top of B. But
top of B. I can see top of B. It's like low A, high B.
Yeah.
It's Colorado but with less votes.
Yeah.
I typically think of it as a pair, really, like Colorado.
Yeah, it's a pairing that you go after.
Yeah.
You know what? I'll put it in bottom of A. I'm fine with bottom of A. New York for me is if we have Florida at top of A, New York has to be bottom of S for me. Because
that's fine by me.
Because
I'm gonna be really top heavy on this, by the way. I'm typically gonna be top heavy. We also haven't gotten to a lot of the bad states.
But
we've got 3 4.
New York, definitely the best start you can possibly have. Three turns for town and gown. Easy entrance either into African American or high tech, which gets you into either Cali or a lot of really good states of African American. We don't really need to discuss this ad nauseum. Like, this is just a good state. North Carolina also an S tier for me.
Oh, S tier. Interesting. My problem with North Carolina is it's expensive.
Okay.
I know it's got manufacturing, which does make up for it a little bit, but it's expensive and it's essentially worse Virginia. You know, like
Okay, looking at our A's, it's very comparable to the A's we have Illinois and Florida. You're
yeah,
right.
yeah,
I don't think there's
yeah.
something broken with North Carolina. It's just such a
No,
good state, though.
it's good. It's good. It's just not broken.
Okay, North
Bama,
Dakota,
Michigan, Arizona. Yeah.
battleground North Dakota. I'm gonna advocate for
B tier,
B tier.
B tier,
It's
B
right next to
tier.
Montana, if not slightly better
Yes.
than Montana.
I love North Dakota, especially the gun player. I love North Dakota because
it's an easy snipe from the oil player.
Absolutely, absolutely. I love it. I love North Dakota.
Or alternatively, if you're an oil player, it's an easy snipe from the town and gun player.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Absolutely.
so good. I'll put it next to Montana.
I love
Okay,
maybe
controversial. I hate Ohio. I think it's one.
I hate Ohio. Ohio's horrible.
It's one of the worst manufacturing states on the board.
It's expensive. It's worse Pennsylvania.
It's worse Pennsylvania. Yeah.
No questions asked. It's worse Pennsylvania. That's C. That's mid to low C.
I put it around the Minnesota Georgia area.
I like it more than Georgia. I do. I like it less than Minnesota, more than Georgia. That's where I like it because at least you have, unlike Georgia, you have stuff that actually like goes into it. You can justify spending swing or manufacturing money in Ohio. It's really hard to justify spending African American and Old South money in Georgia. Like it's just not worth it.
Okay. Oklahoma, very C.
I like Oklahoma.
It's very average to me.
It's very average. It's in the Nebraska, Minnesota
range
for me. That's where it is.
I'll put it ahead of Arkansas. I know you hate that. I really.
It is more votes than Arkansas.
It's more votes. It's
for essentially the same price, especially with oil, and it goes to a good cause. Oklahoma.
I'm looking at this. I want to slip Iowa down to C.
You want to slip Iowa? I mean, that's where I was sitting. You're the one that wanted Iowa B.
I think it's very comparable to Nebraska. In fact, I don't know if I like Nebraska. Nebraska's got the no.
I like Nebraska. I do like Nebraska.
Nebraska's actually cheaper for the same cost.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, and it's not as competitive.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put Nebraska ahead of Iowa.
Okay, all right, yeah. I'll take it.
Yeah.
Oregon is ass. I hate Oregon.
Ooh, okay. Oregon's a C for me. It's sneaky. It's one of the. It's
expensive for 7 votes. It costs more than Alabama.
For me, though, Oregon's a fun snipe for me. It's very.
And the only thing is a useless state group. It's essentially more expensive. Like it's crap. It's the only one that's exclusively export, and it's way more expensive than it needs to be. Oregon sucks. Oregon.
Okay, fine. I was gonna initially say bottom of C. I'll put it in D, but okay.
You can put it high D. That's fine because it is 7 votes.
I'll comp it with Nevada. I think
it is sneaky, but sneaky can't be your only thing. Like if you're expensive, you can't just be sneaky. Montana gets by with it because it's super cheap. The other ones, like Nevada, sorry. You can't. You don't get knocked up just for being sneaky, especially when you cost extra money. That's just not worth it, or so expensive for nothing. I love Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania.
It's the cost. It's the cost. It's so expensive.
Okay. Here's what I think is going to save Pennsylvania in my mind. You can get 2 pips, or at least so for me. You essentially get a pip and a half or 2 pips. With swing state.
Yes, but it's a good state to pick up if you're going swing states. It's so competitive and so expensive. You have manufacturing, high tech, and swing state competing.
Here's the question, Keegan. Do you like it more or less than California?
Oh, I personally
that's where it's sitting for me.
Just with my play style, I don't like it as much as California because I end up finding myself avoiding Pennsylvania just because of how competitive it is, and that's just me.
Well, and then in my mind, yeah, it's right there. It's behind California. Then.
Rhode Island, it's identical to Maine. Like
there's Maine. Vermont. You can go in and stick Vermont in there as well.
I'll put Vermont behind Idaho just because it's only 3 for me.
It's less. That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. South Carolina, here, worst state in the game.
Worst state in the game? I hate Missouri more, dude. I legitimately hate Missouri more.
It's one of those two. I hate South Carolina, and maybe I run into South Carolina more than I do Missouri. I hate South Carolina. I hate it. I hate it. I hate
It's
it.
so awful. The cost is ridiculous for comparable states.
It's significantly worse than Alabama. It's like Alabama, but making it 2 times more expensive for the same product.
You know what? I think there's some redeeming qualities with Missouri in that if you're in like if you're going into ballot and you've got a pip in Missouri, no one's fucking going to Missouri. You can steal
And
that.
the
No
thing
one
with
makes an
Missouri is
effort to
it's more
steal
votes.
South Carolina.
It's more votes, and by the end of the game, you don't have anything else to spend town and gown money on. So that's the thing that I think makes Missouri better. But that's about all I got.
Yeah, South
Um,
Carolina's just bad. It's so bad.
yeah, South Dakota's in that D tier of
Uh,
it's like Alaska.
It's oil. Yeah, I'll put it next to Alaska.
It's worse than Alaska because of the UI thing, but that's about it.
Tennessee. I love Tennessee if I'm playing African American because no one goes into Tennessee.
I play African American all the time. I hate Tennessee. It's expensive and you have to defend it. That's the thing. Like it's a burn of your African American money. There's so many better states that you have to put your African American money in, like North Carolina,
no, but okay,
like Florida, like Illinois, like Michigan, and you lose 11 votes. Like that's a 22 vote swing.
So I think the question is how you play African American, because I'm picturing these scenarios where I'm a Democrat in a New York start and I've got a Republican in the Old South who's not really going for African American, but he's locked up the Old South. What are my pickups? Arizona with the town and gown. You go Michigan, Illinois, Tennessee's right there. Like I think I'd like it there.
I guess this is the difference in play style because I start Old South with Lincoln. Like if I can, that's where I want to.
I don't like that.
Move into Michigan. I want to move into Michigan, Illinois, or Florida, and then I pick up African American really quickly, and then I can move into other things. I can contest in New York because I get a free spin every turn for New York.
I put Tennessee next to Georgia here. Is where I'm putting.
You're
I don't know. Like if I.
It's so expensive. It's 30. It's 30 for a. I mean, are you kidding? Am I even willing to put it in the same like breathing distance as Indiana, which it is the same amount of votes for, and a waste of my African American money? The reason why I think manufacturing is like one of the best, and don't get me wrong, African American is hands down the best state group. But the only weakness of African American is it contains so many good states that you have to spend it on those good states, right? Like you have to go into Illinois or Michigan or North Carolina or Virginia or Florida, and that's where you're defending, and you're not defending Tennessee, so it essentially slips through your fingers. I don't like Tennessee. It's my Spanish ulcer. I hate Tennessee. You can
do you like it better than Kentucky?
No, but you can put it where you want. That's the range. I don't want it anywhere near Indiana though, because it's Indiana but significantly worse in my mind.
I'm gonna put it ahead of Oregon, Nevada.
Okay, that's fine.
I'm gonna put it top.
It is African American, and it is more votes than both of those. That's fine.
Texas, A for me.
A is an A for me.
I like it better than Florida. I
like it better than Florida. I don't know that I like it more than
North Carolina. That's the debate here.
It's close. It's close.
I think I'm going to make the argument Texas is above North Carolina because Texas has viability as the second best start. It's the second best start.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I want to go Texas and then North Carolina. Like if I could pick two states with manufacturing to grab, those are the two, hands down. Like I even ignore Illinois at that point. Like I love North Carolina, Texas as a combo. I know everybody goes Texas, Illinois. I love North Carolina and Texas. Those are so good.
All right. You disagreed with this one. Let me make the argument for Utah, right? If I'm going town and gown, I go New York, Massachusetts, Utah. It's the easy support to pick up town and gown in 3 turns. It's also super cheap, and it's got a lot of help when it comes to high tech, which is pretty strong. And if you're a New York player, like I'm viewing this completely through the lens of you are in a New York start, right? It is.
You're a New York start, yes.
It is,
and it's a decent snipe from a town and gown player because it is cheap and holds important state groups. I'm willing to put it like a high B. I don't really think it touches A. I don't think it's better than New Mexico. Although you know that it's better than Maryland. Although I like Maryland because
I think it's just such a good support state and such a good snipe.
Okay, you can put it in A. I've been sold on
I
Utah. I
I
like
do I
Utah.
like it better than New Mexico? Uh, I'll put it at bottom of A, but I think
Okay.
there's some qualities to Utah that makes it a bottom A.
Virginia's
Virginia
easy.
easy.
Virginia's the best state in the game.
I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that.
It's between Virginia and Arizona. Those are
It's
the
close. I'll put Virginia, but like Virginia, that's such a
Virginia is
good
so
state.
cheap and so important. I love starting Virginia. That's why my Abe Lincoln half the time goes Old South is because I
I
love.
love the running theme that every single state in S tier is African American.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would bet you if you look at A tier, there's a ton there. I, yeah, um, African American is the strongest state group in the game, and that's part of why is that half of the states are S or A, like hands down.
Washington, great,
Washington's a B.
great for high tech. It's fairly cheap.
I
I
like Washington in B. I like
It's
Washington.
around in Indiana
It's
for me.
good. It's good. It's good. Yeah, it's a good state. I don't know that it's impressive. I don't like single out Washington, but it's nice to have.
It feels like the Indiana of high tech.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's votes for high tech.
West Virginia.
I like it more than Connecticut.
Oh wow. Okay. I'll put it there. I Washington.
I don't like it as much as Delaware, but I do like it more than
Washington
Connecticut.
gets you places with high tech is the big
We're
deal.
we're we're splitting hairs there though. It's right in that range.
West Virginia. Where did we put
I like West
you
Virginia.
like West Virginia? Really?
It's an oil state that gets 5. It's got to be better than like it's got high D low C in my mind. Like it's a little bit expensive, but it's oil votes.
I've got it. I put it ahead of Maine, and that's about as far as I would put.
It's 5 votes is my thing. Like for oil money, it's 5 votes.
So where are you gonna put it?
I put it ahead of Kentucky. I like it.
Really?
Yeah, I like it more.
That
I like it more than Kentucky.
that feels like a reach for me, but I'll put it there. Wisconsin,
I
I
like West
love
Virginia.
Wisconsin.
I love Wisconsin. Wisconsin's so good.
Is it good? Do I love it enough to justify an A rating though? Is the deal?
No,
I
it's a
don't
B
think
for
I
me.
do.
Swing manufacturing is good, but
I like it better than Pennsylvania though.
it is cheaper.
It's
It's
cheap.
cheaper.
Um,
And those, frankly, at least for my play style, the swing manufacturing is what I want from Pennsylvania. The high tech's like a nice bonus, but swing manufacturing is what I want from Pennsylvania, and I can get the same thing from Wisconsin.
Wyoming. Where's South Dakota? Right next to South.
Yeah, yeah, same state, exact same state. No questions asked. Well, I hope that was speedy enough for you, Jack.
So
Hopefully-
just doing a quick overview, right? Fairly well distributed. Like we said, African American clearly has a high influence.
African American manufacturing, I think, is where we're really. Town and gown and manufacturing are clearly.
I think we've also very well delineated the 3 different starts that you could like big starts. You have New York, Texas, Cali. You have 4 clearly broken states. Though Mississippi is not as egregiously broken as the other 3, I don't think. Like it's not great. It sucks.
Expensive than Alabama. Why is it more expensive? Mississippi is an F on principle for me. South Carolina is an F because it's horrible.
Like gameplay wise, Mississippi isn't as bad for me, but I can understand why on principle it's an F.
But on principle, why is it more expensive than Alabama? I get everybody hates Alabama. Okay, I get it, but it only cost 18 for 9 votes. That's so good.
I think the way we've delineated S, clearly just the overpowered broken, so useful. A are great support states, like just fantastic support states.
Great support, great opening, important states.
Yeah,
is what I think.
B are like fairly good. You pick them up with whatever state group they're associated with, or good for votes basically.
Yeah.
C is pretty just neutral. Like they're there. You can get them if you need them.
Some of them have their problems, but
there's some utility to them. D are the ones you kind of ignore till the end, or unless you're really desperate to go after a state group. Some cheap
they're
votes.
A good state that have something, or they're a good state that has something dragging them down. Kentucky, Tennessee, Oregon.
Yeah. And then F is just fundamentally broken.
Shit, absolutely shit.
But
god awful dog shit states.
But
hate them.
those are our state group rankings from 270 Live. Yeah, I guess thanks for watching. I think we're gonna call it a day here. But yeah.
All right.
As always, good night, Omaha.